Welcome in. It is Big Ten Today. It is great to have you with us on a Monday. Dave Revson, Rayfeld Davis. It feels like maybe after this weekend we had two teams that have started to separate just a little bit on the men's side.
Yeah, we knew who the top 5-6 teams were coming into this weekend, but after this weekend, you look at Michigan, you look at Illinois as two legit squads to not just get to a Final Four, but two teams that could win the entire deal. Those teams were special this weekend.
They are physically imposing,
yes, they
but
are.
That's not all. They are really skilled, really talented, and both went into hostile environments and got wins. That is our big story. It is the weekend that was in the Big Ten. Remember, we had 4 teams with one Big Ten loss entering the weekend and then 2 games matching those teams against one another. Friday night, Michigan won at the Breslin Center. Then Illinois won at Pinnacle Bank Arena yesterday. Other notable results in between: Wisconsin topping Ohio State Saturday. Indiana beat UCLA on the road in 2 overtimes. And then yesterday, Purdue ended its 3-game skid, pounding Maryland. We'll get to all of those games. But let's start with the 2 biggest games. Michigan and Michigan State. It was an unbelievable atmosphere on Friday night. And I was on this show with Andy Katz on Friday, and we wondered, would Michigan be able to handle the atmosphere? Would Michigan State be too physical with Michigan? Would the Wolverines be able to handle that? I think we got our answers,
yes.
Resounding yeses in terms of Michigan being able to handle it. It felt like they were the aggressor, really, from the word go. Just an incredible performance.
I mean, it's just the way they defend you. You look at Michigan, you look at their size and their athleticism. When they dig into you, when they pay attention to the fine details on a defensive end, there is nothing you can do as an offensive team. You look at it, Michigan State, only 26 points in that first half because of Michigan's presence, because of their physicality. When that shot goes up, Michigan is crashing. They limit those second chance points. They keep you out of transition. And then offensively, when they get going, they are tough to stop. Yaxel Lindenberg is a problem in transition. He's a problem on the offensive glass. You leave him open, he can knock it down. You look at it, Michigan, you talk to Dusty May after the game, they only ran 2 sets for Yaxel Lindenberg, but he still ends up with 26 and 12. This Michigan squad is loaded on all fronts.
Lindenberg had some interesting things to say afterwards. He said, coming in, people were saying we're soft.
Yep.
We know we're not soft. I think they showed
Yes.
that they're not soft, right? Winning a game like that. Look, it is one thing to beat an elite top 10 opponent, and that's what they did. But to beat them in an atmosphere like that, there's nothing that you are going to encounter in the run to a national championship that would be even close to that in terms of an atmosphere against you. Like, to go in there supercharged and get a win, to me, it just tells you so much about this team. And then you talk about, so that's the mental part of it. And then the physical part, they're just so overwhelming physically. We've talked a lot about that front line, as you said, elite defensively, but the other end of the court was elite too. And we talk about the front line. I mean, how about Elliot Cadeau, particularly down the stretch? Man, he was great. He kind of took over that game.
He won him
in the
game.
final 8 minutes.
I mean, yeah, Elliot Cadeau won the game for Michigan. Yaxel Lindenberg was incredible, but in winning time, on the road, tough environment, you need your point guard to be special. And Elliot was special. He showed us the difference between Michigan this season and Michigan last season. You go back a year ago, Trey Donaldson just couldn't make these plays. At the end of the game, it'd be a lot of Danny Wolf. He'd be turning it over. We'd be asking what's going on. But down the stretch in this game on the road, Elliot Cadeau simply took over. 5 minutes to go, it was a bucket in the lane. Very next possession, he got an assist to Morez Johnson. The very next possession, a step-back 3 to put his team up 6. You need guard play to win in March. And Michigan showed in a tough environment against one of the better point guards in the country, Jeremy Fears, going toe-to-toe, won him the game. And then the final possession, which I loved. I loved it. Ball goes up, smallest guy on the floor. Elliot Cadeau dives on that loose ball, gets it, corrals it, calls a timeout. They go home with a victory. Elliot Cadeau showed the country why Michigan is going to have a chance to win a national championship. That dude was special.
Yeah, and unfazed, I think, by the history. I think all these guys kind of embraced that challenge. It was interesting, Dusty May ended up channeling Curt Cignetti after the game, where Cignetti had been asked, hey, you know, Indiana doesn't win at Penn State, and He said, hey, this team has never played at Penn State. And Dusty May said the same thing. I don't worry about what's happened in East Lansing in past years because this is a different team. And they certainly showed that. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Jeremy Fears. I mean, you talk about Elliot Cadeau. He was great. I think one of the narratives that has surrounded Michigan State this year is, well, they're a really good team. They're a really connected team. They don't have a superstar. They have a superstar. I mean, Jeremy Fears is phenomenal. And you've been beating his drum all year, so give yourself a little bit of credit. But I mean, he was tremendous in this game.
I love Jeremy Fears. I've been watching Jeremy Fears for a long time. He went to my high school, Lalamere High School up in northern Indiana. This dude is a dog. You think about Aaron Craft, you think about some of the better defenders we've seen come through this conference. With Jeremy Fears, he gives you that, and then he gives you the offense. He had 31 big points in this game. He kept Michigan State in the game in that first half. Without Jeremy Fears on that floor, there is no telling how we're talking about Michigan State right now. And then he's starting to find that balance. When do I facilitate? When do I get my own game on? It was special to watch. Jeremy Fears playing like a first-team All-American, playing like Big Ten Player of the Year, and playing like he doesn't want to be at Michigan State too long. This kid may have a chance to go to the lottery next season, be a first-round draft pick.
The comeback was phenomenal. I don't know whether they ran out of steam or whether it was just Michigan taking the game over. I mean, I think you could argue either way, but they dug themselves a huge hole, and Tom Izzo talked about, hey, we did not like the way that we started. The turnovers in the first half were a huge issue. They showed a ton of resilience to get back into that game, but ultimately just couldn't get over the hump. Did you see it more as kind of Michigan taking over the game? Did you see it more as Michigan State running out of steam?
I mean, you look at Michigan State, they go to halftime. It's almost like either Jeremy Fears or Tom Izzo looked around the locker room and said, hey, either y'all fight Michigan or y'all fight me. And they came out and they fought Michigan. But you look down the stretch of the game, Jeremy Fears was getting into the lane at will, unconscious, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. I thought Coach Dusty May made a brilliant decision. He went to a zone those final 5 minutes of the ball game, and Jeremy Fears could no longer get into the lane, and it showed some deficiencies in Michigan State's offense. Because you look at it, Jeremy Fears got you 31. Amazing. But no other guard on the roster scored the basketball. You can't win games like that deep in the March. You need other guys to be able to come off a down screen, come off a curl cut, get into the lane and make a play. You saw Jordan Scott try to do it a little bit in that second half from the forward position, but you need Ugo Chukwu, you need Kurtang, you need those guys to give Jeremy Fears a little bit of help in the backcourt because that team went zone and there was nothing Michigan State could do.
They're really good, Michigan State, but Michigan showed certainly this weekend that right now they are the better team. And so now I think the debate becomes, is it Michigan or is it Illinois that's the best team in the Big Ten? Illinois going into Pinnacle Bank Arena. You think about the last 9 days now for Illinois. You have 2 road wins over top 5 teams. No team in the Big Ten has done that in more than a decade. You go back more than 20 years in college basketball, there have only been 2 other teams that have done that. And to do it on the back of a freshman, Keaton Wagler continues to amaze.
I mean, we were talking last week, could he be Player of the Year? Maybe it was too early. I think he is really starting to solidify himself as the Big Ten Player of the Year. Will be the first freshman to win the award. I mean, he was incredible on both ends of the floor. And that's what I love about Keaton Wagler. You get some of these talented freshmen, you get these guys that are going to be one and done. Sometimes you have to beg them to play hard. But Keaton Wagler, he just understands it. He goes out there and he fights. And then offensively, that second half was masterful. 23 of his 28 points came after the break, and it was only on 6 shots. He goes 5 for 6 from the field and gets you 23 and wins you the game. I love how he has that ability to score for himself, but also understands when a defense, he draws 2, he's getting the ball out of his hands and finding teammates. He is the perfect point guard for this Brad Underwood system. It's almost like James Harden back in Houston. Give him a ball screen, let him create off of it. He's going to find his shot off a step back, or he's going to find a teammate for an open 3. It was just a special offensive performance in that second half.
The efficiency is amazing. You talk about these 2 road wins, obviously had the 46 points, as people remember, at Purdue. 13 of 20 from 3. So you make 13 threes in those games, you think, all right, well, how many is he taking? 20.
Yes. It's crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It's wild. And again, as you say, he's a great facilitator. He's a legitimate, he's a point guard.
Oh, man. It's like a 6'7" Steph Curry. And I know that may be saying a lot, but he can shoot it as well. He can knock it down from deep, off the dribble, off the catch, and then his ability to find teammates off that ball screen. It was incredible. But, yeah, Illinois, super skilled. But I think they found that balance between how skilled we are and how tough we can be. Because you go back to that first matchup between Illinois and Nebraska back in Champaign, David Mirkovic, Tomislav Ivisic, they combined for 7 rebounds. In this one, they combined for 17. So that's the development of this Illinois front court. They've been tougher. They've been strong on the glass. You go to Purdue, dominate the glass. You go to Nebraska, dominate the glass, dominate the paint. So when you add in that toughness with the shot-making ability, with Keaton Wagler, man, this is a special, special team.
They are. I mean, that front court is just so enormous. We were talking about the zone that they played where they had the 2 7-footers.
They had
the
a
back
6'7",
line.
6'9", 6'9", 7'1", 7'2". That's an NBA lineup. There's nothing you can do.
It's bigger than an NBA lineup. I mean, it's absurd.
It's crazy.
And I think it is interesting, right? They're the number one most efficient offense in the country. And in fact, if you're listening to the game, you heard them talk about it's the most efficient offense, or on pace to be the most efficient offense in the Ken Pom era, which a lot of people obviously follow Ken Pom in the advanced metrics. But what I think is so amazing is they're a three-point based offense in that half their shots are three-pointers. They're not an elite three-point shooting team. No. They're a good three-point shooting team. They're in the top 100 in the country, I think narrowly in the top 90 in terms of three-point percentage. And yet they're the most efficient offense in memory. And so they shoot a ton of threes. They don't make an inordinate amount. They make a lot. So why are they so good? Well, it's the offensive rebounding is incredible. Yep. Their two-point field goal percentage is incredible. And they get fouled a ton, and they're a great free throw shooting team. Yep. So you're a really good three-point shooting team, and then everything else, you're just off the charts.
I mean, that's the balance of the offense. And that's why I love them when they play with that style of balance, when they play tough inside, when you get David Mirkovic playing off the bounce, getting to the lane, not just settling for threes. And when those shots go up from deep, they all crash that glass every single time. You better hit and hit hard when Illinois takes a shot, because they are coming, and they always make the next play for each other. They have so much cohesion on the offensive end. So say they get an offensive rebound. If they don't have it, they don't just force it back up. They move the basketball, they work it, and then they get themselves an open one. But you look at Keaton Wagler. He draws so much attention to himself. He has so much gravity on the floor that when he's handling the basketball, there are 10 eyes on him at all times, which is why you get a Jake Davis, that wing step back three, because the defense isn't prepared for him to clutch and play that way. This is why I love this squad. And then you add in what they did defensively. And I know Coach Hoiberg, he was upset after the game, talking about the grabs and the hold. It's Big Ten basketball. Without Kylan Boswell to be able to take Price Sanford out of the game, that was special.
11 straight wins for the Fighting Illini, longest streak under Brad Underwood. I do want to touch on Nebraska's perspective on this. Braden Frager came back from an ankle injury. Man, he was phenomenal. He didn't miss a beat. Rink Mast, however, was not his normal self and didn't make a field goal, I think, until the final minute or two of the game. I mean, really was taken out of it, just didn't look like himself. They were red hot in the first half. They hit 11 threes, and then the second half, Illinois really shut them down. Again, I'll ask you kind of a similar question as we were talking about Michigan State. How much of that was Nebraska? How much of that was Illinois?
I think it's a little bit of both. You look at that first half, Illinois decided to play a 2-3 zone. It was a big 2-3 zone like we just alluded to, but it was a slow 2-3 zone. Nebraska was able to pick it apart. Price Sanford cutting through the lanes, Braden Frager on the other side. Illinois just could not withstand that zone going into the second half, so they go man to man. And I thought it was beautiful because Rink Mast, he was not himself. So he wasn't out there as much in that second half, which means the offense looks different for Nebraska. With Rink Mast at the top of the key, he spreads the offense. It's inverted because he can shoot the basketball, so you have to bring the bigs out to guard him. With him on the bench, you put Burke Buchanan at the top of that key. Illinois just was not guarding him. So they were playing 4-on-5 on a defensive end, if that makes sense. So then you have more guys to be able to shade towards Price Sanford. And I get maybe he was held a little bit, but he's coming off that screen. He also had a guy showing to meet him off that screen because they were leaving Burke open. But you can't do that with Rink Mast on the floor. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's those guys locking in the Price Sanford, containing them off of those screens, sending a little bit of shaded help, but then also Rink Mast not being on the floor to stretch the defense a little bit further. It really hurt the Cornhuskers in the second half.
And that's the problem, too, is Illinois is so massive that if you say, okay, they're taking away the three, let's go inside. Fred Hoiberg talked about that afterwards, that just the two-point defense is so hard to go up against because they are so massive. And again, Nebraska well under 50% inside the arc in that game. So the Huskers fall again, a couple losses here for Nebraska in a row.